Welcome, everyone, to the Bachelor Party audio commentary. I almost forgot what movie I was doing an audio commentary from. My name is Chris Cortez, and this is actually one of many commentaries I hope to have in the movie DVD, hopefully if the plan goes well. So this disclosure here, a lot of people didn't notice this at the premiere. Just denoting this is the first of the Experiment trilogy, which is 3 movies I'm doing that experiments allows me to experiment in different ways to just do something fun with the movies I've been doing. And for this movie, the experiment was, can I get home movie footage from my bachelor party and turn it into a movie? And I think I can. So this is the first shot we did for the scripted scenes. The movie was done in a very weird way, as I mentioned on one of the bonus features. And here we have Rebecca returning to the movie. She had previously been in Crazy Random Happenstance and a bunch of other movies we had done. And here she plays the titular character, Rebecca, that I had. I casted her as a fictitious version of herself. So what I wanted to do here was just kind of establish a nice little, a weird opening to the movie. I mean, it's just, a couple hanging out, and obviously that's the main crux of the movie. If not for these two, there would be no bachelor party or a bachelorette party, and we wouldn't be able to go on the adventure we go on. So basically I just wanted a cute little scene with Rebecca and I kind of establishing everything and just us eating pizza. And we actually did order pizza for that. And I remember I ordered 2 pizzas and breadsticks, and I said, well, my logic was I want just to hold a bunch of stuff. But after seeing this movie, I'm like, 2 people do not need 2 pizzas. That's not good. And this actually caused me to really look at my diet and alter it dramatically. And I have since lost a lot of weight. Well, to me, a lot of weight since this movie. I still got a while to go. But yeah, so here I thought I didn't give back a good direction, because here you see me kind of like looking at the fictitious TV, because there wasn't really a TV. Well, there is, but there's nothing on it. And Becca just kind of stared at it the whole time, and our eye lines were all over the place, and that was just me badly directing her. But yeah, just us shooting some dialogue, mentioning stuff like that about, remember the last bachelor party? Just to establish the wild and crazy things we're going to go on. And we give ourselves the stare, and that's the end. So this intro, I want to talk about this. That title card, Bachelor Party, was used in pretty much all promotional pieces for the movie. I just really liked it a lot, and so I knew it was going to be the title thing. This was actually something I came up with late in the game. I just thought it'd be cool to have the title sequence be me packing for the trip. So chronologically, this is like right before the bachelor party trip itself, and each part of the packing actually correlates to the different characters in the movie. So Javon is the tech guy, so he had all that. He was always on his phone and whatnot. Josh always borrowed my toothpaste, so we had that. And then here Brian's the most organized, so that's when the bag is finished. And then Lena wasn't on the trip, so we removed the bag because she wasn't there. And same thing with Becca, she wasn't there, so we removed it. And I think at the beginning we had a whole deal with the underwear. I just thought that'd be funny. And Becca loved this shot. It's written and directed by Chris Cortez, and you see the bride and the groom stuff in the background and the bags on the floor. So this was some of the first stuff I cut from the movie, and I knew I was going to do that kind of epic day one thing right from the beginning of editing. Basically, like I said earlier, this movie was done very strangely. This was the first shot of the entire movie, and we basically just I knew all of it was going to be improv. I knew we were just going to be making it up on the spot. And you could see in a lot of day one, I really was pushing to get reactions out of people and things like that. And especially here, this is me improving, but not really acting natural. This is me kind of acting, and later on you see me just acting a lot more natural once the guys come in. But I just wanted to have some sort of intro and just to establish everything. And I actually did film that after work. I did filmed myself right when I woke up, waited the entire... That's why if you can notice the lighting is so dramatically different. But I waited the entire day and then shot the nighttime part because no one wanted to get out of work that day. I don't know why. Everyone's like, oh, well, we have work until this time. So we couldn't leave until late anyway, so I didn't take the day off from work either. I stayed there the entire day and worked until 5, I believe. And and then the first, here we have, aside from Rebecca, the first Bachelor other character is Javon. He comes out, and this was here. There's actually more footage of it, but I cut it out of respect. But that poor dead duck, we have so many ducks in the area. And so I just, it was kind of fucked up. In the background, you'll notice the Rhythm of the Night is playing. I added that in. That was not originally there. We will not. If you look at the bonus feature on the DVD and the old footage, there's no music there. And I love this shot, so glorious. And there's Holta's beard. There was no music, and I added that in there as kind of like an origin as to why Javon and Chris were dancing to it later on in the movie. But yeah, here Javon, I don't know why, I think he was organized. He was trying to take something out of his bag, and I noticed he had condoms and all this stuff, so I had to videotape him. And here he was literally just talking about a giant sub, I think, at Hungry Howie's or something, because we were talking about Hungry Howie's. But as I said, the movie was shot. Most of the stuff you're seeing here is all chronological. Once you get to the days, day 1, 2, and 3, it's all chronological. And all genuine reactions from this point forward, except for the It's Raining Men scene, which we'll get to in a second. And then later on, we just went back and we shot all the scripted scenes. I actually wrote the script. We entered a brief period of pre-production again after we cut all this together. And then we shot all that stuff, and then finally we cut everything together, and you know. And I always dread that joke. The beat that pussy up. It's just such a stupid joke. I don't know why the hell I said it, but I just did, and it's horrible. Delta actually says a really funny joke here. The wasabi. That was one of the promos we used when I was promoting the movie. And here we have Brian, who joined us. He was the second to last person, and I always tried to kind of have a scene where I introduce the person, have them say something, or have a little moment, and then we move on to the next one. I tried doing that with Javon, and we kind of did it. But I was just so excited to have the first person that I really didn't talk too much. Like, nothing film-worthy. That we just talked, I think Javon and I talked about Doctor Who and Zone of the Enders, the video game, or something like that. And then here, we have Brian's intro, and we actually made... we weren't supposed to do this, but I think Brian had forgotten something at his office, so we drove to his office, and here we are in the parking garage. It was a really nice area where he worked in, and here a lot of fast cuts we do here, just showing off Brian's workplace. Really cool. They had a lot of really cool artsy stuff. It was a very nerd-centric, great atmosphere, very modern office, I guess you could say. And that's my French assassin with a bad comb-over character. So proud of that. That's a character I invented that Brian spread word about at the office, and I'm glad that people are enjoying my character. Like, I doodled him in a notepad in high school, and honestly, because of all this talk, I might do something with that character. I don't know why Brian keeps mentioning him to me, and people apparently are really enjoying him, so I'm thinking of doing something with that character. I keep getting ideas, so hopefully I'll think of something to do with him. Maybe a short film or something like that. Here, this is where Brian eats, and just really cool. I mean, this is the Brian segment of the movie. It's like when the Lord of the Rings, when they went to the Mines of Moria, and, Gimli was showing out. This is like Brian's Mines of Moria, He's just showing us, like, he went to Balin's tomb and shit. And we got our water and whatnot. At least that's how I like to look at it, but, whatever. Except we didn't lose anyone, thankfully. Here I had to do a strange cut at that part, actually, because there's an error with the video. Something was happening that some of this stuff got cut out. So here we are. This is where we went to go pick up Josh. He was the last person. I believe he was supposed to meet us at Hota's house A lot of us were supposed to meet us at Hota's house, but we ended up not being able to do that. I think only I met at Hota's house, and Javon got dropped off in my house because he lives a little bit closer to me. And so here we pick him up, and Brian does a really funny moment here that was so trailer worthy of him just making an order, and thankfully it was Josh's dad who's a real sport about it, and he thought we were really funny, and I don't even think Brian spoke to him later. So here you can't hear anything, but here we are in Josh's room, and I go, Hattori Hansel here. This is his little chill room, really nice looking place, and we picked Josh up. We have his intro here, and originally, by the way, I have to stop here. Originally, and this is the horrible scene where this is the last time I tried to really push the gang in heading somewhere comically, because I realized this is just not working. You gotta let let things flow. Like, you can't just force comedy, and this was the last time we did it. That actually cost me $1 something. Now here there's a mess up. You'll notice the play button still has play. It's actually not running. I added the music in the background. We had stopped listening to It's Raining Men. But originally Nolo was supposed to be in this movie. Nolo is an old friend of mine that I've known for quite some time now, almost 10 years I think. And he was supposed to come, and the week of the trip, he I think something happened that he just couldn't afford to do it, or no, I think something happened that he had switched jobs. Yeah, he had switched jobs, and his old job had given him those days off, but his new job didn't give him those days off, so he couldn't make it to the party. And I felt, I was bummed out, of course, but I understood, and I told him, oh, dude, that's totally fine. And he ended up instead going to my wedding instead. Sadly, he's not in the movie. I really wanted him to make an appearance at one point. I thought maybe the day before the wedding, but I think he was hanging out with some friends that we used to hang out with that he's still friends with, and so he wasn't able to make it. But he was there for the wedding. It was awesome, and we had a really great time. The rock paper scissors, I actually felt so bad about that, because I didn't know what was going on. Apparently, I looked back at the footage, and from what I understand, Giovanna called that already, but Josh took the seat. I didn't know that. I had no idea what was going on. Looking at all this footage, I'm very slow. I don't really know what's happening around me for the most part. I'm always very confused on things. And so these guys are true troopers to hang out with me, because I don't know what the hell's going on. But here we have, this is the hotel. God, it was such a beautiful place. We stayed at the Cabana Bay Resort at Universal Studios Florida. I think it was for 2 nights we stayed, and we left on Sunday. And we got there super late, but it was, oh god, there's so much we didn't show you guys that we just didn't have time to go to. There was like a fake beach that had volleyball and foosball. There was a bowling alley in the freaking hotel lobby. It was so funny though. The second we got to the hotel, the guys started hitting on these really cute receptionists, and there I am, the only motherfucker about to get married, and I didn't care. I've been with my wife now. When she was my girlfriend for 10 years at this point. At the time of this recording, it's going to be 10 years we've been together as a couple. So, I'm all for it. I actually enjoy watching my friends hit on girls. I think it's pretty cool. It's like living through someone else, I guess you could say. Just seeing them make the moves, because I don't know any of that stuff. I've been out of the game for 10 years. I'll never be in the game ever again, so to say. This was trailer worthy too. I just love Holta's thing here. Holta actually cut his hair very shortly after we filmed this. I loved his hair. I thought he looked like an epic Nordic god, like Thor, with his sweet beard. He cut his hair off, and in the post-credit scenes you see it's really short. And then he actually trimmed his beard recently. It's not as poofy. So here we give a tour of the hotel. It's a very nice hotel. It was a suite. It came with 2 beds that could sleep 2 people, and a couch that I slept on, because I just prefer to have a couch to myself instead of a bed. There's Josh, which I thought he just jumped into frame. So funny. We cut a lot of shots here just for pacing purposes. Nothing was really funny. Here's Brian's like, whatever. I told him, dude, he offered you whiskey, and you kind of and he's like, no, I didn't think that. I was just unpacking. And there's Again, we allude to Brian's the packer. He's the guy that's got not the fudge packer. He's the packer. That's such a dumb joke. He was so organized. He had like this really beautiful, elegant shaving set that he was taking out. Oh yeah, this here with my name. I was so amazed by that. I thought that was so cool. It really is a great hotel. It was so it was like their newest. I think it had opened that year in 2014 when we shot this. So it was a really great hotel. If you guys ever are in Universal Studios around that area, whoever's listening to this who didn't go on this trip, which isn't that many people, I definitely recommend going there. It's a great hotel and just a great place to hang out. Plus, it was relatively affordable. I mean, I don't think we spent too much money splitting it between us. I think we spent like $50 the whole weekend, if I recall correctly. So here I did do first-person drinking, and then I actually did drink right afterwards. And here's one of the rare shots where Holta was controlling the camera. And what's really funny is after this shot, we actually went out to try to find beer because we wanted to bring home some beer. And so you'd think right after that it would lead to us going to sleep. There's actually a whole segment that we cut out for pacing purposes that we went out into the car and we were looking for alcohol. But Orlando is a dry city or dry state, I can't remember, where you can't buy alcohol after a certain amount of time. So I love how I'm talking over Josh humping Javon. I mean Josh humping Alta. So we couldn't actually get drunk or anything like that, sadly. So here we mess around with the timeline. Now we jump back a few weeks. This always got a laugh of the little kid yelling Peter Pan. I'm happy people laughed. This was supposed to be a reminiscing scene. I stuck this in because Robin Williams had passed away during the filming of this movie, and Robin Williams is one of those guys that it's amazing to think that a man that brought so much joy to us had such a deep sadness in him. And I always very much appreciated him, and my heart goes out to his family and just everyone in there. So I stuck that in there just to kind of push it out there and just in honor of him, little something. I did something similar to Barry White and Michael Jackson in two other movies I made, so just wanted to do that. Got a laugh out of people because of that kid, which I'm happy. If Robin Williams can elicit one more laugh from people, then that's just awesome for me. Even though that scene's actually very beautiful. So here, Chris calls up. This is 3 months before, and he's calling up all these people to try to get people to come to his bachelor party. And so I knew there's going to be a bunch of cameos in here. Mayhem and JJ were on the top of the list to have them in here. I always try to sneak them into my movies. They're like my Jay and Silent Bob. They were in Roommates. God, they've been in almost all my movies. But I wanted to do something different, so I told Brian, look, you're Mayhem, but I don't need you for filming. I'm just going to need you to do some audio recording. And basically, I just thought, wouldn't it be funny if Mayhem was like taking a colossal, like horrible crap, and there's just this back and forth with them. And so we did this filming of me playing JJ. Hadn't played him in 5 years, and I have to say it was horrible wearing that costume again. I couldn't, it was so hard to talk, and I felt so suffocated with my mouth, and it was pretty bad. What's funny is if you notice, as we keep cutting back and forth, we were very behind on schedule that day that we were filming that. So if you notice, the background gets darker and darker and darker in each shot. Here it's bright because we shot this first, and then here it's super dark. But at the beginning of the shots with JJ, it was really bright. I have no explanation for that. That's just a tremendous goof at how dark it got. We did shoot all this on the same day. I shot all the stuff of me talking first, and then when Rebecca came, she helped me shoot this. And that beer, I have to give a shout out to that beer. That is Holta's beer. He gave me a Maiden Dade beer. That's his beer company, and I had to stick it into the movie. So JJ drinks Holta's beer, and yes, in canon, that is what happens. Brian's recording, for the longest time, we had me doing a test track, and we had Rebecca do a test track for the last shot of the movie. And Brian knocked it out of the ballpark. I remember we did a recording session through Skype, and I told him, dude, like, do you need me to like, he had read his lines already. I emailed them to him, and I told him, do you need me to give you direction? He's like, no, I got this. And so in almost every first take, he just nailed it. He did such a great job. And I love that scene. I just think it brings such a whole new dimension to Mayhem and JJ. They're just such a great duo together, so that was really funny. Now, this is an appearance that I just wish I hadn't included. I don't know, I just would have shot this so differently, but this is RBD Guy from my web series, Retrospectives Be Damned. Wanted to stick him in here. I had this dumb joke that he's Chris's cousin, and the whole joke is they look identical. I'm just literally wearing a different shirt and a tie, and all of a sudden I'm a different character. And that's kind of like a joke, too. In my older movies, I would actually do that. I would have a character, a guy, a friend of mine, wear a different shirt, and all of a sudden he was a different character. And it was so absurd, so stupid. I was actually a little bit drunk when I shot this. I had taken a short break before Rebecca came over and shot this right after the Chris stuff, and I had a beer or two, so I was a little bit on the drunk side when I did all that. But all things said, it's okay. I would have definitely framed myself a little bit differently than we ended up. I was very displeased with some of the stuff we did here. Just me personally. My acting, just everything. I would have done things very differently for RBD Guy. Kevin Suihara, I don't know where I got that name. I think I just looked up a random guy that had something to do with digital media, and I know he's in charge of Warner Brothers Entertainment, and I just thought that would be funny. Like, I don't know why RBD Guy would be contacting him given his content, but whatever. And we had shot this after we finished season 1 of RBD Guy. I knew he was going to be in it, so we shot this, and what's it called? And yeah, we haven't even. I think we just started filming at the time of this recording. We just started filming the first episode of season 2 of RBD Guy, so it was kind of cool playing RBD Guy one more time, and just right before we went back to it. Now, I always knew the scene would end with my sister dancing. And it's so funny because my sister, she used to complain to me when she was younger, you never put me in movies, like, come on, man, put me in. And I'm so happy I can finally do it, and she is an exceptional actor. My sister is really good at what she does. One of the few actors I work with where I say literally what I want her to do, and she just does it. I gave her this whole direction of close your eyes and do this little dance, and she just did it perfectly, exactly what I imagined in my head. So she is definitely the director's actor. Not to say anything about any of the other actors I've worked with, they're all exceptional, but she really nailed it. And this was actually her last scene that she shot. It was actually the last shot we did of the whole movie, was her dancing. And actually what happened was, if you notice, it's dark and there's candles lit. The power actually went out in my house, in my parents' house. That's the only shot we did in my parents' new house, because I wanted just an entirely new bedroom, and that is actually my sister's room. She has a very spacious room. So we came in, we set up, and while we were filming, the power went off. The first take, power just went off. And I was so upset. I was so pissed. So really quickly we regrouped. We lit up some candles. Lena had a flashlight that she lit, and we had all these different lights that we turned on all around. And it worked. I color corrected the shot a little bit, and just kind of like tried to brighten it up a bit. But I'm very pleased with it. I actually think it works fine, and it's not any less than what I wanted. It's just a damn shame that the power went off. I do remember Carolina was like, "Can I play Robin Williams in the background?" I'm like, "Well, I mean, unless you want to come back in and dub your entire scene, I don't know if you'd want to do that." She's like, "Yeah, no, that sounds like a lot of work. Fuck it." So she's dancing to nothing. So it was very quiet. And she was just dancing there, and I was there holding the camera. And we were sweating quite a bit because since the power went off, the AC went off. So I was just chugging water in between, and so would she. You can't really tell, but we put some beer bottles there because the whole scene we wanted to give the illusion of, is she high or drunk? We can't tell. And she had ran out of incense, and we were going to light up some incense to make it look really kind of smoky. So sadly we couldn't do that, but I'm very pleased with the way the scene turned out. I think the acting's great. I think the point gets across. It's very weird, and that was the whole point of the scene. So very happy, and that kind of like closes out. We have the last little coda here. I had let my girlfriend. I told her, what do you want your ringtone to be? And she told me, how about the Meow Mix techno dance thing? So I gave her that as her ringtone, and we thought it was great. So yeah, now we jump back 3 months in the future to day 2 of the trip. This was infamous. Brian would sleep in every day we were out. And so it wasn't my idea. Josh, I think it was, wanted to fart on Brian's face. And so they tapped me and they're like, get the camera. And I'm like, all right. And Josh laid a huge fart on Brian's sleeping face. And Brian did not wake up. After that fart, he kept sleeping and he didn't know. What I thought was very funny was after everything was done, I told Brian, you do know that Josh farted on your face. And we showed him the footage. And it was like, you son of a bitch. And then I'm like, hey, man, that wasn't me. I just documented it. And he's like, even those who just watch are doing worse. And I was like, you fucker, you're right. But Brian was a real sport about it. He just kind of like shook it off. And, Brian's the closest person I know as to be Sean Connery. So, Now, this N64 shot I actually almost cut from the movie. And it was cut in one of the edits. But when I showed the trailer to people, that got such a big laugh. Every time we showed that shot of the trailer, it was just Josh's reaction of being so stoic that it got so many laughs from people that I stuck it in. I kept it into the movie just for that. But yeah, we took a nice little shot of whiskey right before we went out. I believe it was like the afternoon at around this time. We went pretty late to Islands, and Holta looked so badass. He looked like a California beach guy with his tats and his really nice colored shirt and just the hair and everything. He looked great. Here, yeah, we were driving. That was part of the new bus system Universal had. That was really, really neat. And that's, I think, what started the whole Rhythm of the Night whole like thing. So, yeah, we didn't really do a whole lot. I really wanted to capture more of Universal Studios, but really what you see is what happened. We basically filmed that. We went and we ate somewhere, and then after we ate, we walked into the park, and then we were just kind of like hanging out and doing our thing. And what's it called? It was Javon's first visit. He was very excited, but I was very upset. Hota left because Holta's he's a giant. He's our Hagrid. He's the super tallest one of all of us, and so he didn't fit in most of the rides because the rides are really built for quote unquote regular sized people. And since Holta is a lot taller than us and has really broad shoulders, that was the problem. His shoulders were too broad, and the most of the safety chairs wouldn't fit him. So sadly, he couldn't go on any of the rides. So he got his refund, and I had to really take a moment here to give it to Holta. He was such a gem, man. He was such a gentleman. He got his refund. He got all his money back. He went out and bought all of us beer and a whole mess of stuff. He bought beer. He got like liquor, all sorts of things. He got me a really excellent, I think it's a whiskey or a bourbon, called Gentleman Jack. I'm really bad with my whiskeys and my stuff like that. And that really touched me, man, that he was like, you know what, I'm going to use this money and I'm going to get, and there he is smiling, I love Volta. He was like, I'm going to get this money, I'm going to go and do something. And actually, let me just take the moment to say that everyone who went on this trip, like, I was so happy, man, the whole time. Everyone at one point, Javon spent quite a lot of money on me to go to the clubs, and I really appreciated that. That meant a lot to me, and I owe him big time for that. And everyone else, Brian and Josh, like everyone was treating me to things. They were helping me out. Brian was making all the calls here. You'll notice throughout this entire scene we're drunk as shit, and we're all talking about how we're gonna get laid and all this nonsense. And Brian was the one that was calling people, and we had to be called. And didn't have me worry about all that. And Josh would treat me to some of the lunches and stuff like that. Real friends, man. Real fucking friends. The line I say at the end of the movie of "These are my real friends," I couldn't have meant it anymore. These guys were outstanding. I had such a great time. Like, seriously, I'm so happy I have this filmed on camera, so I could always look back and remember all this stuff. So, like I said, we were very drunk. I think the original idea was we were all gonna, well, except me. Look at that drunk fucker. We were all gonna go get laid except for myself. I was going to stay behind and no, I was gonna observe from far away and just get really drunk. But I remember I told them, look, if you guys want to fuck, we got sliding doors, dude. You can go and fuck in the next room. We're not gonna do nothing. And I think the guys did try to get women and bring them into the room. We never did, sadly. We were never able to get anyone like that. Obviously, it would have been 4 women for the 4 other guys. I would have just observed, and every woman we met, I would always say, "I'm getting married." You know, not that they would hit on me or I would hit on them, but just to put that out there. We did go on a quest that failed. Ironically enough, there was a bachelorette party, and look, I don't like stereotypes, but oh my gosh, I hate stereotypes, but it's ironic that these bachelorettes were doing something that is a joke. There's a joke that all bachelorettes always wear short-haired, multicolored wigs and go out together in a group and just get trashed, and that they buy each other dildos as a joke. I saw it in the movie 40-Year-Old Virgin, and I've heard almost a lot of girls I know tell me that's what they do, and I just don't like to believe in stereotypes. I renounce them, and I still renounce them. I don't buy them. But we actually saw girls wearing short-haired wigs, drunk off their ass, going into clubs, and presumably holding boxes that contain gifts of dildos. I don't know. I can't confirm that last part, but it was pretty damn funny. And so I think at one point Brian's like, we gotta find them. And we never did. I think we almost... I think two of my friends almost got laid, I think, at one point. I don't know what the fuck happened. But we ended up just going to the karaoke bar, which we'll see in a moment. So nothing really happened that night. It was a lot of fun, though. I don't think any of us got laid. No one really did anything, and but we all did try at one point, and that's except for me, and that's what counts. I think some of the guys didn't even give a shit about that. They just wanted to hang out. But I encouraged it. I wanted them to. I mean, I was drunk here, but I was telling them, do it. Come on, man. Go out there and do your thing. So, but anyway, going back to this. So we spent a lot of time here. We watched Doctor Who. We drank. We were merry. Let me think, see if I can remember. At this point, I drank 2 double bastards, which are if you guys have ever had a double bastard, it's an arrogant bastard with even more alcohol in it. And arrogant bastards are really hoppy IPAs. Double bastard is actually my favorite beer of all time. And I drank 2 of those. What else did I have? I had... there's rum that was there, so I had a couple of rum and cokes. And so I was pretty damn wasted. And it's going to flash, so I'll just mention it now. Oh, wait a minute, I had to mention this. So this is Hota's Soap is Mine speech. So damn great. Hota just... he was so wasted at this point. I think he might have been more drunk than I was. And here he gives his example of me, Hota, me, whatever. Unfortunately, yeah, I don't think any of us ever used our lines that we made up. We were just drunk. But we all had some pretty damn cool things we were going to do. But we never did do them. And Hota, sadly, again, and man, I felt so bad for him. On the same day, first it was that stupid fucking theme park shit, and then that he turned around into something so great. And then Hota, we partied. We got really fucking drunk, and we were gonna go and smoke cigars later. Oh wait, this is the infamous Josh's ass scene that I had to censor for YouTube. He's like, no, don't censor it. And I'm like, dude, I have to. You can't have nudity on YouTube. But that was, and the open for business. You see my major delayed reaction. I had no idea what Brian said because I was so drunk at the moment. But yeah, at this point we were all getting ready to head out to the outside world. We ended up going to City Walk, and we had a really great time. And I think here we're actually about to cut to Billie Jean. Yeah. So here, this guy was really doing a killing performance. We went to this awesome karaoke bar that had a live band, and Javon was actually gonna go up there. And that's him. He was about to go up there. That's me scared. He's going to go up there and try to sing, but it ended up not happening. Now, this is much later. I actually have no recollection filming this. I was very drunk at this point. We went in. I got a beer. I drank it. And then I got another beer for me and Brian, and we drank it. Now, at that point, I was very drunk. And I told myself, okay, I don't even remember this, by the way, any of this, this conversation I had with Javon. But at this point, I was very drunk at that point, and what happened was the story. Holta got sick, unfortunately. He drank a lot, and we were walking around City Walk, and we were trying to do stuff, and then we split up at one point, and I went with Javon, and we were looking at how to do different things, and we were looking at all the different clubs. I think there's like 3 different clubs, and we were trying to see which one we would do. And Javon and I were trying to figure out how to do the karaoke bar club, and we left, and we bumped into Brian, and then he told us that Holta was really sick, and that Josh had taken him to this epic hot dog stand that was like a restaurant partly, and he bought, I look like a Muppet in that shot, and he bought Holta a hot dog, and then about halfway through the hot dog, Holta puked. He got really sick, and so Josh took him back to the hotel to make sure he was, good. Like, Josh took him for the team. He went all the way back to the hotel. He made sure Holta was okay. He tucked him into bed, and Holta passed out for the rest of the night. And I felt so bad, man. I was like, Holta, no, because it was like we lost Gandalf, man. So anyway, at that point, just flashing back to when we were at the club, I was really drunk. I'm like, all right, that's my last beer. Like when you have a beer and you're like, all right, that's it. I can't drink anymore. Josh comes out and he's like, hey, man, I've got a round of beers for everyone. And you can't say no to that. You just cannot say no to a round of beer. So I'm like, all right. And so I drank the beer. And I was like, all right, God, I'm going to drink this beer. And then that's it. I'm done. I can't drink anymore. So I drank that beer. And then I was even more drunk. And then out of nowhere, Josh comes in with another beer. And I'm like, why are you being so generous? And so I took the beer. And I think I only drank half of that last beer. Because at that point, I had drank so much. And I ended up getting really sick, which you will see in day 3. Now, okay, I have to talk about this. So I figured since we got really drunk at the end of day 2, it'd be really cool to write this scene of my sister and I and me getting drunk and prophesizing, I'm not going to get drunk at my own bachelor party. And Carolina really nailed it here. This is, I think, her best scene. It's her standout scene. It's like her scene of the movie rather than my scene. And she does a really goddamn great job in this whole sequence. It was really funny. I went in there wanting to shoot this. I was experimenting with some of the dialogue choices I was going to do with another future experiment movie I'm making called Party Animal. And I ended up going a different route while we were shooting this because there's a lot of reasons. There's some technical reasons. There's some shots I wanted to do that we couldn't do for technical purposes. We had a broken tripod when we were shooting all this. And also, there's a lot of dialogue in this scene. And I was asking my sister to deliver very large pieces of dialogue in very large scenes. And, my sister's very busy. This is not, everyone who does these movies for me, they do it for free. It's not a job or anything for them. They just do it out of the kindness of their heart. And my sister had school. She has other responsibilities, so she didn't really have time to memorize her lines as well as she wanted them to be memorized. She had them memorized, but not enough to do big 10-minute takes. And so we ended up, like that establishing shot originally would have just been her talking. But like I said, technical and other reasons, we just couldn't do it. So instead we ended up doing these like quick shots of her, cutting back to me. And I think it works out. It's very fast-paced, I feel. A lot more fast-paced than I had written it. And I'm actually quite pleased with the way it turned out. Obviously, that's water instead of vodka, which is very obvious. I made a mess there. And we kept having to shoot this over and over again. I hope there's outtakes on the DVD if I did my job right, of us just having a really good time filming this. We actually shot this scene over the course of 2 days. Basically, the way it was done was my sister came over, knowing she was going to sleep over, and she brought 2 sets of clothes, one for this scene and one for the other scene that we shot. And yeah, we basically shot all this at nighttime. And what happened was it was a lot of dialogue. It was pages and pages and pages of lines. And so we ended up not using it all because, or not using it all. We ended up not being able to film it all. We shot about half of it. And I called it a night because we were tired, and I was very overzealous on what we could do. And so I told her, look, like, we'll just dress you up in the same clothes tomorrow. Can you stay until nighttime tomorrow, and we'll shoot that? And she's like, all right, no problem. So we took the rest of the day off. We had a really good time. I think we actually did drink for reals after this. And then we started shooting it, and I don't recall. She did such a good job with her hair. I don't remember where we started the new shots. I cannot remember for the life of me. I think this is all still from day one. I think so. I'll see if I can remember. This, I think, is all still from day one. I think after this scene, possibly. I know the last shot we did on day one was me, and then starting day 2. But my sister did a fantastic job. She didn't even look at, like, film footage. She just kind of shot what she thought she looked like, and I thought it was a really, really good job. Great continuity on her part. But yeah, so we did, yeah, this was just so fun to do. Then I think I think here was a reshoot. Yeah, I think here was where we started doing the reshoots, and you can kind of tell. I think her hair part is different, and there's a button that's unbuttoned. I can't remember now, but yeah, the lighting, everything really worked out well at the end of the day.
That's the first thing that comes to mind.
Everything was fake. It never happened.
But like I said, she really stood out here. I told her this is kind of like your test to see if you can carry a scene, you know, like that has so much dialogue for party animal that we eventually do. That scene there where I go, this shit is strong. That the way I deliver that line is actually a reference to my second movie I ever made, Essence of Schwarzenegger, where Eric Soltanian, one of the actors in the movie, said a line that I thought was really funny. It was ad-lib where he went, "That shit is strong," and then he falls over. So that was my homage to Eric Soltanian. You know, just I'd bring it back, bring back the old stuff.
You guess this is true?
So at this point, I think my wife had already had her bachelorette party, which was originally going to happen the same weekend as my bachelor party, but a lot of delays happened, and she had to eventually do it to another time. And oh, this is brilliant. Rebecca actually fed the lines to me, and I have to give a lot of credit to Rebecca. She is not in front of the camera very much, but she operated the camera for the majority of what you see here in these shots. She was always there. She did a lot of miscellaneous work. If ever we needed lines to be read to us, she would do it. If ever we needed just anything else to be done, she would step in and do a phenomenal job. And I was very happy. She did such a great job, and just I'm so lucky to be married to her. And I just love all these sequences.
Magnets are cool.
And of course she nails me. Now, the montage scene that's coming up, I have to talk about this for a little bit. I had no idea what I was doing when I was shooting it. I had scripted a couple of things, a couple of ideas of what to do, and a lot of it got chucked out the window and we just ended up utilizing a lot of improv. That shot was always, I knew, going to be the intro to it. There's my homage to the 11th Doctor, his dance from Doctor Who. Some of this was the same, some of it we changed. I think the cheese was added. Originally, we were going to do that. The puking was always there. We were shooting that around Halloween. And a lot of this stuff was added. The dancing, I really got to hand it to Carolina. I always wanted to do... I heard this song. It's by Kenny Loggins. What is it called? I forgot the name of it. But I heard it in The Karate Kid, I think. And... I just knew I wanted to do a montage with that song at one point. I didn't know when. I've been wanting to use a Kenny Loggins song for quite some time now, even going as far back as 2008 with The Essence of Soul Swapping. And finally, with this movie, I was able to do it. And my sister did a remarkable job. She was hilarious. And just, oh god, we had a blast shooting this. And here, I gotta give myself credit here. So, this was added in because we really thought the El Color Azul Junto was so funny. All the Porto noises you're hearing in the background was all me. I found a list of commonly used Italian words and started at the top of the list and said about 6 words in a voice like this, a really high pitch. And then I recorded myself again in a lower voice like this and did the last 10 or last 6 words that appeared. And I just put them over each other and played porno music, 1970s porno music. And it just worked so well. It just really works so well. It sounds like just a really weird Italian porno. But if you're Italian and you watch this movie, you realize they're just saying, like, margarita. They're saying, what is it? They're saying, like, tomato, pesto, basil, what is it? Like, doorknob. Really normal stuff, but apparently they're having intense sex. So, this was all shot by Holt, and thank God he shot this, because I was destroyed. I puked. As Holta said, I puked on Brian's socks and his underwear, and I felt so bad. I puked everywhere. And I don't remember any of the puking. They told me later on. It was just a byproduct of all the goddamn drinking I did. And Holta was feeling better, thankfully. I was feeling like complete shit. I felt really... Speaking of shit, there's Josh taking a dump. I felt like shit the entire day for the most part. I remember, like, I didn't start feeling really well. Like, here, I was obviously... I remember I couldn't even stand up straight in the bathroom when I took a shower. I had to sit on the floor of the sink and just wash myself. Here, Javon's really working it in the background. I was feeling like complete garbage here. I just wanted to record, to say something, but I felt horrible. Here, I felt a little bit better. I remember I started feeling a little bit better. I still didn't want to eat. I just drank water because I felt really god-awful. And it wasn't until we were driving in the car, when I say, Javon, it's giant tit, that's when I started feeling better. And that's because at that point, I went to sleep and I took about like a 2-hour nap. Yeah, I took a 2-hour nap, I woke up and I felt better. And I remember I told Holta, hey man, because, by the way, Holta drove the entire fucking way. Like, mad props to that. He did an amazing job. And here we stopped by here, and I Ford Drum, great pit stop. If you guys are in Florida, go to this pit stop. Amazing pit stop. But we went off, and I told Holta, like, dude, I feel way better now. He's like, oh, dude, I'm glad. I'm like, can we get some donuts, man? He's like, yeah, man, we'll get some donuts. So we stopped by, and I ate an entire, like, half dozen of donuts, and I felt so good. I felt so much better. And so, yeah, we kept driving. The giant tit thing happened. I just, at that point, I felt fine. Thank you for coming, man. I wasn't feeling like crap anymore. I just really needed sleep. I think that was my main problem. If I would have slept for like a few more hours, I would have been okay. God, looking at this shot, Brian was already losing weight here, but he has lost a significant amount of weight. He looks fantastic. Got to give my props to my man. He lost a lot of weight, really put himself up there, and is looking really healthy. He's looking healthier and healthier every time I see him. Me, on the other hand, not so much. I got to get healthier. So we drop off Josh, and because he was on the way out. And basically, if you really look at it, we all get dropped off almost in the same way we were picked up, except near the end. We drop off Josh first, and then we dropped off Brian, and then, but yeah, these bumps, we really didn't illustrate it, excuse me, as well as we could have, but these bumps were horrendous. They were really god-awful.
In my house, the bumps, like...
I'm sorry. These bumps were great. We were talking about how my bumps were god-awful, but you would just go over these bumps, and they were so nice. They were so, like, boom, like, really nice and just suave. So this is Brian's old house. He actually doesn't live here anymore. He has since moved to an apartment, I believe, in with one of his coworkers at the time of this recording. But yeah, he had lived there for a long time, and it looks like such a great shot. I love how wide the background is and all that, how long it is. But Piggy's nose scratching his balls. But he Javon does this great Seiya, man. It looks really cool. But yeah, so we dropped off Brian and said our goodbyes. And here, yeah, Hota brought me back to my place. It was really dark at this point. And we give our goodbyes. And this is the last of the... Oh, I'm sorry. No, it's not the last of it. But this is damn near the last of the footage. Nothing really, no real stories to tell you. Day 3 was pretty straightforward in general. I think we were just all very tired. I was suffering from a hangover for like the majority, 3/4 of the day. It wasn't near the end. Until near the end, I started feeling a lot better. But Rebecca didn't know I was there. I think I texted her and told her we're almost there. But we were just hanging out outside my apartment complex, doing our thing. And it wasn't until...
It's never over.
I went in and I was like, I'm back, and we started telling stories, and I was telling her everything that happened, and it was really great, just hanging out with my guys. A lot of testosterone in the air after that. Also, I did add in music. You hear music in the background. The whole soundtrack, by the way, I have to say, for the most part, I'd say 90% of it is all from my wedding's soundtrack. Now here, I did this this pull-out shot. We did that digitally because originally it was just a static shot, and I didn't enjoy it for a number of reasons. I just didn't think the shot looked good, and plus we had a title on screen that just didn't look good with my couch. So I zoomed in, and we added in the title a little bit thicker and a lot better, and we did the whole zoom out. Here, this is my least favorite shot of the whole movie. We zoomed in digitally, and it's so grainy because we shot this in 1080p, and so, it's a great... I like the way my delivery was. I just hate, how it looks. But we shot that in that way because Rebecca, you could see her in the mirror back there in that shot. So originally it was a faraway shot, and, we had to do that. This whole sequence, by the way, is very interesting because basically we shot Rebecca first because my sister was still getting ready. We shot my sister second, and then we shot me. And none of us were in the same room. So here, when Rebecca comes in, Lena and I are actually not there. And we put little stations. I put like a sock or like a doll or something or a pillow as eye lines for Rebecca and for Carolina. And they did a really great job pretending there's someone there. I have to really say, give credit to them. It was just the way the schedule worked out. A little bit of a mess up though. You can see Rebecca's not in the mirror behind there, so only bad part of it. Lena, on the other hand, again, also did a great job. And whatever. I give credit to myself, I guess. I don't know. It's kind of weird to give credit to myself. Here, we digitally zoomed in because Rebecca was having some difficulty. I wanted her to do a slow zoom in, and I told her, you know what, we'll just do it in post. And so it was just one big shot, and then, I made sure to have it zoom in the entire time while I gave a speech. So that'd be a really great pull-in shot. And here, Lena gets the last zinger of the movie, so to say. Now, originally, the movie just ended here, and we would have the credits. And because I wasn't sure if this party was going to happen. This was something I wanted to do the day before my wedding, and I really wasn't sure if it was going to happen. There's Henry! Yeah, makes a cameo in my movie. So happy. That's my sister's darling boyfriend. Really cool guy. But I didn't know if this was going to happen because of just the timing of everything. And so what ended up happening was we were able to have it. And I basically came in. We had to use a different camera, and the quality it's really bad. My wife wanted to use the camera for her, but really happy Alex came. He my friend Alex. This is really cool to have him in the movie because he was the reason I got into making movies. And I was very happy he came to my wedding, and so he makes a really quick cameo in the movie. He went to the party the night before my wedding. I was just really happy, man. He got to come, and he got to be in the movie, all things considered. And we had a really good time. I loved talking to him. We talked about Star Wars and a lot of geeky stuff and video games, and he talked about what he's doing right now in his career, and I was telling him about this movie and stuff. Which is very meta. I'm talking. There's actually a scene of me talking to him in the movie about that. But I gave. You'll notice in the bonus features there's about 20 minutes of footage from this night because I gave the camera to Javon and Holton. I said, look, I just need like 10 or 5 minutes or whatever of footage for the credits, and they gave me like 20 minutes of really good content, and I kept praising them about that. And so obviously what you're seeing here is just a fraction of it. The rest of it is on the DVD uncut as it appeared. But yeah, we I had a lot of stuff to work with. It was just a crazy night. Great night though. I really enjoyed it. Pretty much what you're seeing here is what we did. We just got really drunk and we ate and we danced for some reason. I don't know why. And as you can see, I'm not sporting my beard. It's a very weak beard. I had shaved off my beard immediately after we finished filming because I wanted to be clean shaven for the wedding, and I did not like how I looked. I looked really bad. So I only had 2 weeks to grow a beard, and I could not grow a beard for the life of me. So you see me here. I tried to grow a beard as much as I could, but just couldn't do it. Just couldn't do it. So I just grew what I could and shaped it into what we could. Yeah, this was we're about to close, so I'm gonna kind of give out my last thoughts here. The guys were great. This is probably one of the best scenes of the whole movie. We had a blast. I had a blast making this movie. We had a blast doing this, going out and having fun. This will always be this is memories of that I will always have on camera, and I'm just so happy about that. And of course here I really wanted to have, I love the lighting in this shot by the way, but I really wanted to have a stinger. I love having stingers, and so I used Mayhem and JJ because I really loved them and I wanted them in the movie. Did not get as big of a reaction as I wish they would have, but alas, Brian got the last line, which I think is I did, but I like his little yell, and we end on a poop. All right, guys, thank you so much. Hope you enjoy the DVD. I loved making this movie. Good night.